Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. And I would like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp, BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They are a therapy finder. They're a therapy finder company. That's what they do. They find you therapists online. So they are international. They are in the US. They are international. So whether you're here in the US or whether you're international, you're in the UK or France or Italy or any of those wonderful magical places that I really hope that I can start traveling to sometime soon. BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez will set you up with an American therapist here in the United States. You'll have to figure out the time difference with your therapist. I've gotten a whole bunch of really good reviews, and I just wanted to read one because I thought this was so cool. I'm new to therapy and extremely happy with my experience so far with BetterHelp. Andrea really listens to me. Andrea's the name of her therapist. Makes me feel comfortable and my feelings are valid. She gives me great advice as well as various exercises to help me with my current needs. Highly, highly recommend. So this is making me very happy that I'm getting good feedback from people using BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. So thank you, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez, for helping everybody. That's awesome. All right, so there that is. Okay, let us dive into the questions. Happy New Year's and everything. All right, so my elderly father demands I care for him. There are no other family members. What do I do? You say no and mean it. So here's the deal. Elderly narcissists, care homes are filled with them. So they're collapsed narcissists is what they're called. So basically when a collapsed narcissist gets older, they don't have the power, they don't have the money, they don't have the looks. There's very little that they can still rely on. And so they usually use intimidation or guilt or fear or obligation guilt or the inheritance, holding it over your head. No amount of money, not even Bill Gates' amount of money, is worth having to put up with one of these collapsed narcissists. They're evil. Can I just make this very clear to everyone? Somebody who intentionally enjoys harming people is evil. Let's just call it what it is. So when they get older, they start being afraid, because remember, narcissists are terrified of dying because they don't have any control over it. It's like when they're dead, it's in the greater power's hands and they can't manipulate the greater power. Boy, are they in for a surprise. So yeah, so they want somebody to care for them. And it's another way to have power and control over somebody. It's another way to boss them around. I think I've mentioned this several times. When my mom was at the care facility, because she was having heart failure and all sorts of things, and she needed to be watched because she wasn't drinking enough water, she wasn't eating enough, taking her meds. It was like, okay, Mom, you got to do this if you want to live. Thank you. So it was really helpful to have her into a care facility where we knew she was going to be cared for and not just sitting out in our, our ranch off in Gridley where nobody could see what was going on. So anyway, so when she was in that care facility, there was a woman that was down the hall from her that was a collapsed narcissist. And that woman was the nastiest POS I have ever seen in my life. She was vicious. She was mean. She would call the staff names, and the staff were really extraordinary. I mean, that's part of the reason why we picked that place, is because I did not want her in a place that was your typical care facility. So anyway, but this woman, her family abandoned her. Her family never came to visit. She was so jealous of my mom because my sister and I would go and visit her my sister would go and visit her every week or every day. I would come once a month and visit her and stay for like 2 weeks, that kind of thing. So, the care facilities are filled with these collapsed narcissists. So these narcissistic parents think that they can treat the kids however they want, and then when they get old, that it's now the kid's responsibility to care for them. Let me just clue you into, you are not obligated. You're not obligated. You are not. You owe them nothing. And you got to get that guilt out of your head. So when the guilt comes knocking, oh, but they were your sperm donor. Oh, but they were your egg donor. Oh, but they gave birth to you. Okay, and then what did they do after that? What have you done for me lately? Seriously, what have they done after that? They caused heartache, problems, pain, interfering in your life, nasty verbal abuse, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's amazing to me because all of these narcissists are like, oh, well, I can treat however I want, and you're going to just come take care of me when I'm older. I'm like, if you wanted to be taken care of when you're older, perhaps you should not have been a jackwagon. You owe them nothing, guys. And they're counting on the fear, the obligation, and the guilt to keep you stuck. And they're counting on that to make you, intimidation, make you, control, hello, take care of them in their old age. I cannot tell you the number of times these narcissistic parents do the weirdest things. I mean, they're like, woo, there's no there there. So they'll say that they're, they'll do the, how do I explain this? They'll be overt, they'll be covert, they'll be whatever they need to be in order to get their needs met. And I've seen them be perfectly fine, but then when the child is in the room or in the house or whatever, suddenly they're the frail, old person can't take care of themselves. You need to do this for me. Seriously. And meanwhile, the kid turns their back and they're all, and I'm just like, what the frick? So they'll do that. They'll play the victim. They'll play the frail old lady or the frail old man or whatever. Or they'll do bizarre things. I have seen this so many times, and I do think that this is a narcissistic behavior that happens. And it's so bizarre because the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, this has got to be a one-off. But then I've seen it multiple times since then. So what the narcissist will do is they will literally mess the bathroom with feces. Literally mess the bathroom with feces, either intentionally smearing it everywhere or just, oops, I missed the toilet kind of thing, and then demand that the caregiver pick up their poop. And at first, the first time I heard of this happening, I was like, that can't be. No, that's got to be a one-off. No, I've heard of that more than once, believe it or not. So it's a power and control trip. Making somebody else pick up your poop. Now, there's a difference. If somebody really is having, bowel issues, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, yeah, they're going to miss the toilet, that kind of thing. But there's a difference between they're strong enough to go out and go do other things, but you're telling me they can't hit the poop into the toilet? What? No. So do you see where I'm going? It's a power and control thing. It's a power and control thing. I'm going to make you clean up my poop. And that gives them whatever narcissistic supply, which I'm sitting here going, oh my God, you really are sick. So yeah, so they want the kids to care for them, and they want the kids to care for them because then they are in a position of power over the kid. And then the kid can't go anywhere or do anything or take a vacation or, hang out with their spouse or whatever. So, here's the thing. If you were not related to them, would you have anything to do with them? If the answer is no, act accordingly. You owe them goose egg. I don't care that they gave birth to you. I don't care that they were your sperm donor. I don't care that they were your egg donor. How did they treat you throughout your life? And what the heck makes you think it's going to be any different when they're older and needing you to care for them? No, you set them up with a care facility and you let the care facility deal with them. It's not your job. You truly do not owe them. Having a child is not a negotiation point. Let me just make this perfectly clear. Having a child does not give the parent the right to go, I gave birth to you, you owed me. That's a business deal. That's not having a child. How you have a child because you want to have a child and you like children and you enjoy teaching. That is why you have children. You do not, don't get me started. Oh, too late. Here I go. You do not have a child because you expect them to take care of you. You do not have a child because you're lonely. You don't have a child to love you. You don't have a child to fulfill some job. I mean, as much as I'm not crazy about Dr. Phil, that was one thing he said that I was like, oh, damn, you're right on that. You don't give a child a job before they've even been born. And a lot of disordered people do that. They give the kid a job before the kid's even born. So, yeah, your job was apparently taking care of them. So the answer to that is, if you do not want to, don't do it. If this person has been abusive, harmful, hurtful, nasty, whatever, and they're holding an inheritance over your head, you can say, you know what? There's a lovely care facility. Let's go check it out. Don't do it. Don't do it. It will not end well. Trust me. It's like, and people get this guilt thing going and they're like, oh, but but if I take care of them, then they'll love me. Darling, it ain't never going to happen. Not on this planet, not on any other planet. On Planet Narcissist, they don't do that. What they do is they get more demanding. Oh my Lord, my glasses are filled. I was watching the Harry Potter thing and I was crying all the way through it. Dear Lord, it was the reunion thing. It was so awesome. It was, Alan Rickman. The last thing with Alan Rickman when he says always, and I just was like, blah! And now my glasses are completely messed up and I cannot see out of them. Anyway, side note, sorry, squirrel. So they are giving you a job and they set this up long before you came along. Trust me on that one. This is the way these guys think. So no, you do not have to take care of them. No, you are under no obligation. Set him up in a care facility. Get him hooked up. Is it a father? Yeah, get him hooked up with a social worker, and make sure that he gets into a care facility. It is not your job. Now, what narcissists do is they do the whole xenophobic thing. And they'll be like, I don't want to be around non-family. Well, too bad. That's where you're going, because they know that if they're not around, if they're around non-family is not going to put up with them. Non-family is not going to take the yelling, the spitting, the screaming, the whatever. That woman actually got kicked out of the care home because she was so heinous. So yeah, they know that they're not going to be able to pull their typical raging, manipulation, gaslighting, rewriting history, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, that's why they want family to care for them. So the answer to that is a resounding don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you put yourself in that position. Get him hooked up with Adult Protective Services or get him hooked up with a social worker and get him into a care facility. It's not your job. You do not owe him. You don't. Now, I'll tell you something. With parents that are kind and concerned and loving and everything else, yeah, you want to care for them. Absolutely. If they're normal, healthy, normal in bunny ears, but healthy, normal parents, yeah, that's another reason. It's like, I think this woman was so jealous is because my sister and I were always visiting my mom. And obviously we liked each other and we hung out with each other and we laugh and, the whole thing. And she was so angry and she would even say that, well, everybody likes you. Like it's a condemnation. And I'm like, yeah, everybody does like my mom. You know why? Because she's not a biatch. So, don't get me started. No, you don't owe them anything. All right. I just left an abusive relationship and I want to date. No. Put down the grinder or the whatever that is. Just put it down. Put down the dating app. Put it down. Put it right now. Put it down. No biscuit. Put it down. So, yeah, you don't want to do that. I want to date. I feel so lonely. My friends are all telling me no. Listen to your friends. Please, please, please listen to your friends. So here's the deal, guys. If we come out of an abusive relationship and we haven't figured out how we even got into that abusive relationship, what makes you think that you're going to go into a healthy relationship? The odds are against you. Now, I'm not saying that you're not, that it's impossible, but the odds are against you. You need to figure out what your picker is doing. How did you pick this person? How did this person pick you? What do you need to work on? How can you strengthen your boundaries? How can you strengthen your self-esteem? How can you strengthen saying no, and meaning it? How can you do that? So that's what you want to work on. You want to not be on any of these dating sites because dating sites attract predators. I cannot tell you the number of times I have clients coming into a session in tears. They got out of an abusive relationship. They didn't listen to me. They went straight into dating. And what did they find? Another abuser. And it's because your picker is not working right yet. You've got to figure out who the heck you are first. You do. And you have to strengthen yourself. And you have to build up that self-esteem so it's rock solid. Like rock solid. So that the next time somebody comes along and tries to tell you who you are, you're able to go, I don't think so. I know who I am. Thanks for playing. Bye-bye. Do you see where I'm going with that? So in boundaries, you need to be able to say no and mean it. And you need to not be second-guessing yourself all the time and not whatever. So the loneliness, interesting, is because you've abandoned yourself. Let's just percolate on that for a moment. The loneliness is because you've abandoned yourself. because you've given yourself up in order to please this abusive person, and you've lost who you are. So it's really important to get into a good trauma therapist, work on the self-esteem workbook by Glenn Schiraldi. Disease to Please, Harriet Breaker is about boundaries. Codependent No More, Beyond Codependent No More, both by Melanie Beattie, also about boundaries and not being codependent. And CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker, because you need to work on this previous relationship. So something else I hear survivors say is, oh, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to do. Okay, stop. You may not want to think about it, so you're shoving it away, right? You're resisting it, right? You're going to bring out the pink elephant here. So when we resist something, it's like looking at a pink elephant taking a doo-doo in the corner of the living room. So you're going to go, oh, pink elephant. Oh, no, I don't want to think about the pink elephant. I'm not thinking about the pink elephant. I'm not thinking about the pink elephant. I'm not thinking about the, what the heck am I thinking about the whole time? The pink elephant. So what you're going to have to do is, yeah, there's the pink elephant. Okay, let me get out my self-esteem book, figure out why I let that pink elephant in the first place. Ooh, oh, and the Inner Child workbook by Catherine Taylor. Oh, look at that. Oh, and that pink elephant's getting smaller. Ooh, isn't that interesting? It's not a whole lot of fun to deal with, but I'm getting rid of it. Okay, Disease to Please, Harriet Breaker. No, pink elephant, you don't get to go doo-doo in my corner of my living room. Oh, look at that, a trunk. Okay, do you see where I'm going with that? So you got to work on yourself, and you've got to go back through and process it. So when you're like, no, you're resisting it, but yet you're thinking about it the whole time. And remember, if you don't get the inner child handled, the inner child is going to be the one that's making all the decisions, which means the inner child is going to be picking who you're dating. No bueno. You don't want your 6-year-old to pick who you're dating, because your 6-year-old is going to try to fix the original wounds. Here's mom and dad or grandparents or whoever the caregivers were right here, right? So what the inner child does is they go, ugh, mom and dad were horrible, and I had this horrible relationship with one or both of them. And, oh, look, outside over here. Well, here's somebody who kind of sort of reminds me of them. So if I can make them love me, I prove mom and dad wrong. Half of a doo-doo sandwich, half of a doo-doo sandwich, total doo-doo sandwich. You don't want a doo-doo sandwich. You don't. So that's why it's important to work on yourself, because otherwise you're just going to keep repeating the same pattern over and over and over and over again. And you don't want to do that. Life is too short. Life is too beautiful. You got bigger and better things to do. So work on yourself. And that is part of life being beautiful, is figuring out who you are, what you want, what makes you happy, where do you want to go, what's on your bucket list. And then out of that, you hopefully start doing things that you enjoy and doing things that you love and getting confidence in who you are. And then you meet like-minded people, which may include somebody that you're going to date. Boom, there you go. So yeah, you don't want to be dating right after. I know you're lonely, but that is the time for you to turn inwards. That is the time for you to love your inner children. That is the time for you to do the mirror work. Hi, good to see you. Have a great day. You know what? It's okay for you to love yourself. It's okay for you to be alone for now, working on you. You give yourself permission. You do. So, and especially in our society, we've got this real, instant gratification. You need to be hooked up. You need to be a couple, blah, 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 blah. No, you don't. No, you don't. You need to work on you. You need to find out who you are. You need to love you. You need to enjoy your own company. That's the thing. It's so funny because I talk to people and they're like, how can you do this? How can you be alone for a lot of the time and, and do all of this? And it's like, well, you like your own company. I can go for days, except that, of course, we're quarantined again because, I forgot to tell you, yeah, somebody in my Pilates class had COVID. So John and I are quarantining again. Yay. But we're going to be done with that quarantine at the end of the week. So that's good. But, it's like I can go and do things by myself without John and I'm okay. I don't need another person. I don't need other approval. So that's the thing, is that we've been so conditioned by these abusers to be looking for outside approval, other approval. I need somebody to tell me I'm okay. No, you need you to tell you you're okay. You need you to approve. You don't need anybody else's approval but your own. And the most important meeting in the morning you're ever going to have is that morning mirror work with yourself. It's like approve of yourself. Give yourself permission to like yourself. Give yourself permission to say no. Give yourself permission to take the time to explore who you are and to start liking, if not loving, who you are. You know, enjoy that. That's all. That's everything. You know, that's the biggest, most important thing. So anyway, yeah, don't get rid of those dating apps. Just don't even do it. And statistically, they are filled with predators. They're looking for the desperate. They're narcissists. They're like sharks. They smell blood in the water. They smell desperation, and they go onto these dating sites. And of course, they put up this beautiful, profile, and then the person gets involved with them. And then a month later, I'm your boyfriend, I'm your girlfriend, and they're doing the love bombing, and it starts all over again. So don't do it. Just don't. Don't, please, for yourself, don't do it. Give yourself a year. This is what I tell everybody. Give yourself a year, but in that year, you must be working on yourself. It's not just going to be a TikTok, we're up to the year mark and now I'm going to date again and I haven't done anything. If you do that, you're going to go right back into dating abusers again. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your time, you're going to work on yourself, you're going to get with a good trauma therapist, you're going to do all the work that you need to be doing. This Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor, Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi, CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. You're going to do The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker. You're going to be journaling. You're going to be doing mirror work daily. You're going to be writing and burning letters. And you're going to be working on yourself. And you're going to be challenging yourself. So when I deal with people that are terrified, literally, of going out by themselves, because they've been so conditioned by the abuser, you can't go anywhere without my permission. You can't do this without me. You can't blah, blah, blah. I will tell them, take yourself out to lunch. Of course, right now with COVID, careful, but take yourself out to lunch. Go see a movie by yourself. Go do something that you want to do, but that you're afraid to do, because it's not going to kill you to do it. Hopefully you won't get any sort of diseases. I really hate this stupid pandemic. It can just go blow itself around the room as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, which it is blowing itself around the room, which is why people are getting infected. Don't get me started. I'm done. I'd like to travel now. I would like to socialize again. That would make me happy. Anyway, the point being is that challenge yourself to go do something that your abuser wouldn't allow. If they were like, no, you can't take that class, go take that class. If they were like, no, you can't hang out with your friends, go hang out with your friends. If they're like, no, you can't go out to lunch by yourself, go take yourself out to lunch. And it's so funny because it's like when my clients do that, when they go take themselves out to lunch, they come back and they're like, it wasn't as awkward or weird as I thought it would be. And I'm like, of course it's not, because it's way more awkward and weird in our heads than it's ever going to be in reality. And that's what the abusers play on, is they play on that ruminating and that, fear. It's all fear-based. They operate in fear. So there that is. Okay. Okay, during the time my ex was devaluing me, he let me know he was talking to his exes, WTF. Okay, so narcissists need a harem. Male, female, doesn't matter. They need narcissistic supply the way the rest of us need oxygen. So what they do is they let you know, they're setting up the triangle, okay? So they're letting you know, oh, well, I'm talking to my exes. You better please me because I'm talking to my exes. This is what's going on. I'm talking to my ex. They're basically making you terrified. And they're basically letting you know what they're going to do. Narcissists are so pathetically stupid. Oh, dear God. And they think they're the smartest things walking the face of the planet. They tell you exactly what they're going to do. So basically what this person is saying is, I'm going to have an affair with one of these exes. I'm going to make one of these exes my narcissistic supply. I'm devaluing you right now. And so I'm going to put this into a triangle, a love triangle. You're going to fight for me with this person. That's what they want. That's what they want. They want this weird love triangle, you two fighting over them, that kind of thing, because it's all narcissistic supply. So this is what narcissists do. That's why they're doing it, is because they need that triangle. They need the drama triangle, the villain, the victim, and the hero. Villain, victim, hero. Villain, victim, hero. So, they need that love triangle going on so that you're constantly in a state of fear and doing whatever you need to to get them back to that love bombing phase. But let me tell you something, that love bombing phase never comes back. And if it does come back, very shortened. So initially the love bombing phase is pretty long, but then as the abuse cycle goes through, right? So the 12 o'clock, if you're looking at an analog clock, 12 o'clock is where you guys meet. The love bombing occurs until about between 3 and 6 is where things start getting weird. 6 and 9 is where the abuse starts kind of happening, the devalue, discard. 9 is when you've had it and you're out of there and you're not playing the game anymore, and then they're right back up to love bombing you again. But that cycle of the love bombing gets shorter and shorter and shorter, and the abuse gets longer and longer and longer. So if they're devaluing you and talking to ex-girlfriends, that's when you go, bye-bye, bye-bye now, hit the road, Jack, bye-bye, thanks for playing, bye-bye, You don't need it. You don't need it. But that's why they do it, is because they have to have a harem and they have to have somebody fighting over them, and they need that drama triangle. Villain, victim, hero. Villain, victim, hero. So you're the villain, they're either the victim or the hero, and then the other person is either the victim or the hero. It depends on what their needs are. So yeah, so don't fall for it. Get out. Save yourself. I left my abuser over a year ago, and I still wake up thinking about them. How do I stop? Okay. So what abusers do is they get us with the intermittent positive rewards. So I love you, I love you, I love you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I love you, hate you, hate you, love, 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 hate, 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 love, 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 hate, 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 hate. It's a roller coaster. And so we're constantly going, oh, they love me again. Oh no, they hate me again. Oh no, wait, no, they love me. It's good. Oh no, they hate me. I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you. So it's intermittent positive rewards, and that is addictive. Let me just be clear on this. I get so pissed off with people that are like, oh, they're addicted to the abuse. And that's when I would give the middle finger, but I can't. So you know what I'm saying. So it's like, no, they're not addicted to the abuse, you jerk. They're addicted to the intermittent positive rewards, because this is how we train dogs. This is also what is used in prisoner of war camps. Let us be clear on this. So the guards would be nice to the guys sometimes, and then cruel, cruel, nice, in order to get them compliant, so that they will live for the times that the guards are nice to them. They'll be compliant. I'll do this for you. Will you be nice? So it's the same way in training dogs. So we're not cruel to the dogs, but we don't give a treat every single time. And eventually the dog, all you have to do is a hand gesture and the dog will sit, waiting for the treat. And that is exactly what happens to targets of abuse. Absolutely. And it is addictive, because every time we think that we're about to get the love bombing, or that we're about to get the love or the attention or the approval, our brains flood with all of the feel-good chemicals. And here's the other thing. When the abusers abandon us, when they do the devalue and the discard, we start producing oxytocin like crazy. Now, you would think that we would be producing the oxytocin when things are going well. Au contraire, we produce the oxytocin when the partner leaves, because we're trying to pheromonically get them back, right? And get them connected again. So we start overproducing oxytocin, which is the bonding chemical between mom and baby, lovers, etc. So it is also very addictive, because now we've got all this oxytocin. We want to connect. I need them. So when they leave, we don't have that anymore. They're gone. They're peace out. They're gone. They've discarded us. We finally figured it out. We said goodbye. But then our stupid brains, dear Lord, God love our brains, what it will do, and this is typical of addicts everywhere, okay, is we start thinking about the thing that gave us all of this rush, this joy, whatever. So this is why in getting over addiction, it's really important to not allow your brain to start thinking about how great the drink was, or how great the pill was, or how great the heroin was, or how great the whatever was, because the brain then starts producing all of that oxytocin, or not oxytocin, sorry, serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, feel-good chemicals, just even thinking about it. So think of them like your drug, seriously. So that's why the brain is doing that. The brain will make them the first thing you think of in the morning and the last thing you think of at night, because it's trying to jack up the endorphin, dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, etc. So when they pop up, what you're going to do is thought stopping. Thought stopping. So when your abuser, your person pops up and they pop up in your head, you're literally going to have to go, no, thank you. I hear you. I see you. And you are not welcome in my head. Goodbye. Bye-bye now. And this is different from resisting. So resisting is where it just immediately pops up and you're like, no, 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 no. This is where you're like, I know what you're doing, brain. You want to get high off of thinking about this person. Not going to happen. This is not good for me. Just like drugs and alcohol are not good for you. This is not good for me. I am not interested in playing this game. It sucks, but you know what? This person wasn't even real. They were an illusion. They were mirroring me back to myself. So thank you for popping up in my head and reminding me why I don't want you in my life. Bye-bye. Let them go. And then what you're going to do is you're going to write out every rotten thing they ever did to you, and you're going to put it somewhere where you can see it. So that when the brain starts doing that again, you can be like, hold please. And then go get your list and read down every rotten thing they ever did to you. Remind yourself, this person that you're missing is this person. This one is the idealized one. This is the real person. And that's the hardest thing for us to wrap our hands around. Hands around, head around, everything around, that this person that we fell in love with did not exist. They were an illusion. They mirrored back to us who we are. They don't have love. They don't have kindness. They don't have empathy. They don't have a real sense of humor. They don't have anything real about them. They mirrored us to us. And so when they let the mask drop and they come at you, that's the real person. That's who they really are. Because healthy, normal people do not seek to destroy other people. And it sucks and it hurts and it's painful. And that's why I'm saying, write and burn letters. Goodbye letters. Dear so-and-so, here's the good. Boy, when you came into my life, I thought that you were everything and this, that, and the other thing, and then the bad. And then weird things started happening. And then you started getting snarky. And then you started devaluing. And then you started comparing me to your ex. And then you started, whatever. And then the discard, the good, the bad, the ugly, and then the horrific. And then I realized who you really were. The claws came out. You showed me who you really were. And you are now out of my life. And goodbye, and you're not welcome. So bleep the bleepity bleep bleep, bada bleeping bleep you. You don't get to live up here rent-free anymore. I am evicting you. I am worth more than this. Goodbye. In no uncertain terms. Trot it out to the barbecue. Read it out loud once. Set it on fire. Let her go. And it sucks. It really does suck because we did love them. We did. But they never loved us. Ouch. I'm sorry. So yeah, do write and burn the letters. Do the thought stopping. Remind yourself of that. So, okay, my loves, I am out of time. So you guys have a great week. And this week, I think I am going to be talking about, if I remember correctly, we're going to be talking about when psychological terms get thrown about by the ex, by the crazy one. There we go. How to handle it. So we're going to talk about that. All right, my loves, have a great week and I will talk to you later. Bye.